Hola and welcome to Jason Bytes Back episode numero 61, the series of which I go back over the last month and answer and or respond to questions and comments. Okay, so my Memorial Day weekend was not as productive as it could be. So because I have to go to work and that's going to take up a significant portion of my day, I'm recording this at 7:49 in the morning. Wow, time flies. As always, this video is brought to you by my awesome Patreon subscribers, the $5 and $10 of which will be listed at the end of this video. So without further delay, let's go ahead and jump into the first question. This one is from Jeffrey, and he says, my one comment is that the manufacturer went cheap on the display. If it had the friendly display like a Soul Arc, then this would be a winner. Now this is referring to the SunGold Power 4000 watt 12 volt internal charger combo for the budget RV life video. And I picked this because I have actually two of these big inverters. One is a 6000 watt. It's hanging on my wall. It's kind of been the central focusing point of my whole battery backup system thing that I've been working on and adding batteries to and things like that. And both of those are kind of exactly the same, and they're super old design. The display itself is very outdated. You are correct. And alongside that, there's no smart features whatsoever. And that is definitely something that I have found really just kind of lacking, right? Being somebody who likes to be connected, being able to, look at the stats, know what percentages there are, look how long it's going to take to charge up, just very basic things, along with some sort of an online portal. It's kind of like, dang it, On one hand, if you can save some money without going name brand, possibly, and you lose those smart features that maybe you don't want, or you lose the super easy to read display that you have to wait 20 seconds every time it cycles around and then depict what graphics mean, what letter or whatever, that's, ugh. Like if that's what you want to do to save a few bucks, absolutely go for it. Not a terrible inverter. Like, so far I've had really good luck with my inverter. But even these little tiny handle batteries that I'm, dragging around have like percentages on them that, I could imagine you could hook up on one of these little inverter combos and say, hey, this is how big my battery bank is. Tell me how much battery I have left. They have percentages, they have displays, they have way more information than what these big inverters have. So it would be nice to have just an upgraded version of this, where one, it's not as dumb. Some connectivity, like just a little bit of connectivity. Next question is from Satit's Tech Adventures. He said, this is on my battery, my General Arc battery. I had no idea you could split a 110 plug into the legs of a 220 volt plug to bridge both sides of the panel. I've been trying to figure out a cheap way to power both sides of the panel with backfeeding. These consequences of my actions right here. Okay, so I wanted to include this comment as just another warning, I guess. I thought I said it enough times in that video. Do not try that at home. If you have any idea like how electricity works and you think you can manage it and you know not to overload certain, like if you have a little bit of idea to how to make that work, then maybe. But if you have no idea at all, there's a bunch of problems here. I mean, one, you're going to try to turn on something that pulls 220 volt, and you're going to pull basically both of those split legs at the same time, and at best it's just not going to work. At worst you're going to screw something up and it's going to be really expensive, so don't do that. And not to mention everything else I said in that video, like make sure to click off your main fuse. That way you're not backfeeding into the grid if for whatever reason power is down. You do not want to try to give an electrical lineman a nice little morning shock or something. It saddens me to know that somebody out there probably made one of these double-sided cables and, potentially mishandled it, shocked themselves, hooked things up in the wrong way. I don't know. Like there's 1,000 different ways. Well, not 1,000, but there's a bunch of different ways that you could screw yourself up doing that. So, hey, hope to hear from you again, Tech Adventure. Next question is from Troy. He says, don't tell Jason 3G failover has been a thing on business grade routers for a long time now. This is on that RT6600AX Synology router. No, I get that. 3G, 4G backup, yeah, that's totally been a thing. There's people on my Discord that have that. Talking about you, J-Derp. What I was pointing out was the fact that I could turn my phone, my iPhone, into tether mode and go through the iPhone USB lightning cable, and it would automatically pick it up. I've personally never seen that on a consumer grade technology. I've seen it happen with Android phones, where it just kind of turns a blank data stream out of the phone and it works, but Apple's always just been really finicky. I'm not saying that it's never existed before, but to me, it was just kind of crazy that it was compatible with iPhone, because usually most things don't work with iPhone just because Apple likes to make everything complicated and or expensive. So that's why I was just kind of blown away by how easy it was to get to work. And even more so, there are business grade, or probably some consumer grade, but business grade routers that have SIM card slots that literally just plug into it, and it's all built into the system. You don't have to tether anything to it. So, there's definitely other options out there. But when it comes to just plugging in an iPhone, like let's say if you're at home or at work and you're doodling along and doing your thing, and internet goes down, you're just like, okay, doo-doo. All right, that'll get me going for the last hour that I'm here, and I can get online and get my stuff done or whatever. So that's all that I meant by that. Nice little easy failover switch to an iPhone data plan if you have the available data on your plan. Next question is from Christopher Stalin Brenna. I just need to stick with just reading the first names. This is about the Tautulli top 5 reasons I use it with Plex. And he or she or it, whatever, said, so what you are saying is that Tautulli is spyware. Well, kind of, yeah. But it's like spyware that you install on yourself? So it's more of a reporting software? I mean, is it spyware if you're using it to spy on yourself? Because if you're spying on yourself, you're really just gathering data and generating a report. If it's someone else that sends you the data and then takes that data and brings it back to themselves without you knowing, then that's spyware. But if you are purposely downloading a data logging, cataloging, report building software to gather the data on your local stuff and then report it to you in a graphically friendly way, I really don't think that's classified as spyware. As far as I know, Tautulli or Tautulli or however you want to say it is an open source software, and it is managed by a group of people who basically make sure that there's no spyware included in the release. What that means is that it is just a reporting software that you install, host, and manage yourself that you can use for your own benefit to see what the stats of your own server is. It's really a great software. It adds a lot of powerful features that even Plex themselves have borrowed from. They've definitely borrowed a few features from the Tautulli screen and incorporated it into their own dashboard. So, I mean, overall, it's just a great reporting software if you want to know or look up history or playtime, stuff like that. Especially if you share your information with, let's say, friends or family member, and you want to make sure that they're not sharing that with other people too. I mean, if you authorize one of your friends or family members to watch your server and they turn around and they go, oh, wow, yeah, that's like my Netflix password. Here, go ahead, friend. Right? Then you can start seeing different IPs pop up throughout the own city, town, or whatever. And you're like, wait a minute. This isn't right. I got 3 streams coming from 3 different IPs underneath the same user ID. Something's fishy. I did not, authorize this. So that helps weed that out a lot if you're willing to pay attention to it. If something stands out, it's always good to have more information than less information. Next question is from Christopher. He says, I haven't watched the video yet. It's fair. But if the filter is clogged or the AC was run for a while without a filter, the coil could be partially clogged up. From the condensation, I'd say the compressor is getting cold enough, but it doesn't. But if enough air doesn't, and then I haven't read the text yet, Christopher. But to answer your question, I replaced that motor in that AC unit and it worked perfectly. It's been amazing. Honestly, we've had 80, 90 degree days and my air conditioning actually turns off a few hours a day, which sounds bad. But before all this, since I've moved in, I've had repeated issues where people come out, they give me They give me a little repair here. They do this. They'll charge up. It was the first time. Then I had a leak, and it's always been one thing or another. And I'm not saying that this thing is permanently fixed, but every step of the way, I've always told whoever came over, I'm like, look, I feel like I don't have very good airflow with my system. Like, I can put a piece of paper on it. It barely lifts a piece of paper up, right? I think this is the backbone to my problem. I have ice cold air coming out of my vents, but just not a lot of it. So I went out into the wild on a mission, and I replaced that motor, that fan motor myself, put everything in, put it back together, and now, like instantly, I could put a piece of paper on my vent and would blow the piece of paper off. Before, it would barely lift it up, like maybe an inch and a half, an inch, right? So for right now, replacing that fan motor has done wonders. I could before be running this thing all day long on a 75 or an 80 degree day, and it would run 24 hours a day, and it would still be like 75, 80 degrees inside the house. Like, it just could not keep up. When you said something about the freezing up due to condensation, actually, it did. That tube out there that takes the refrigerant, it did freeze up one time when it was slightly chilly out, and I still ran it because YOLO. I want my 69 degrees, you know what I mean? So it froze up. And I've had it freeze up before, and I've replaced that A-coil, or whatever it's called. But over the lifespan of me being here, I've always said, this damn thing does not have enough airflow. One guy told me the unit's too small and I need to get a new one, which, hey, cool. I got some other things in my life I have to figure out before I can go out and get a new air conditioning unit, but that is definitely high on the list of things that I need to do to this house, along with Tesla battery walls. But this comes before that. Next, Ikerinus. It's a good thing you fixed that, as the coil can freeze up, eventually get a leak. I speak from experience. Okay, that was sorry. Next, Zach. How many of you still transcode? At this point, when traveling with Fire TV Stick 4K, I can direct play back from home to my server in South Florida. Now I do have gig internet and Plex set up to 700 megabits up, but I think I can change that to 300 to 400 megabits and still be fine. I'm just going to stop you right there, Zach. Okay? Not everybody has symmetrical gig internet. Okay? Not everybody lives in the rich part of town, surrounded by all the rich people with all the fancy technology. Some of us are all poor and live in the backwoods of Kansas, and we have 1 gig down, but only 35 up. Okay? You don't have to go throwing your big ISP around like you're new to the jailhouse, okay? I hate you. That is one of the things I really want in this house that I don't even know how much will be, but I think I can do it if I pay stupid amounts of money through my main carrier. I have the space behind my house to run a fiber line. I just have to pay for the fiber line. I don't know how far back the fiber line goes or how much that's going to cost, but I have a gig down and 35 up, which means that I still transcode. I especially transcode because I also upload videos once in a while that can completely saturate my network. And usually when I upload those videos are about the same time when people are watching on my Plex server. I mean, you know, sometimes people really like Back to the Future because those are the 3 movies I have, Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. So, you know, it's that time frame where people are trying to watch stuff and then I'm trying to upload stuff and YouTube doesn't have a speed limit, so it'll just take up everything and then everybody gets a buffering thing because my upload sucks. So I am forced to transcode, and I usually limit my streams to, I think I have it set to 4 megabits per second now, but I used to have it set to 2 megabits per second. So when you don't have a lot of bandwidth to go around, you kind of have to make do with what you got. That's where I'm stuck. So next question is Scene Blind 2. I never saw the first one. Pro tip, TDAR for converting your files to H.265 is quite the lifesaver. You have the file size with negligible reductions in video quality. I've already saved 500 gigabytes on my NAS this way. Well, I see what you're saying there, but I have a different viewpoint. Now, visually, depending on your setup, 500 gigabytes might look like a large piece of the pie. But really, 500 gigabytes in this day and age is not that much. And how I look at it is that setting a program loose, which I've actually had a conversation on Discord with some people, I think it was last Friday, setting my server loose on all of my media files. Let's say hypothetically I had a bunch of media files, and this would save me a bunch of space. You know, maybe it would save me 20 terabytes or whatever. I don't know. Let's say it was a lot. It was at least a couple few hard drives worth of space that it would save, right? Releasing a software on it to say, yes, take all of my files that I've curated over the time, all of which have different file sizes, probably different containers, different codecs. Some are H.265, some are H.264. All of them have different audio profiles, subtitles, etc., 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 and just YOLO it all together in this one little set of instructions and just go at it. That seems sketch to me. Right? Like that actually seems like it could fail miserably. And the only way for me to do it, I think, would to be let every single file get changed, and then I would have to put it into a queue for me to actually review and make sure that it maintained all of the attributes that I wanted it to. I guess what I'm getting at is this. It's hard for me to trust a program to mass produce something that could be of huge risk to you if you've been data collecting for years. You've been, putting your stuff together for years. It's just letting something loose to handle everything automatically, and then probably delete the old files to save the space because you don't have enough room to have the new and the old, and or you don't have the time to go through every single file to make sure that it was re-encoded the proper way, and then add all of that up with H.265, albeit amazing, still has its issues. There are some clients that don't handle it very well. There are some use cases where H.265 is just not a good choice just yet. I'm not saying you can't use H.265, but in comparison to H.264, there are some clients, some situations, some scenarios where sticking with H.264 for right now is just a better choice. It's definitely an option though. So I'll just say that that's a stick of a pin. Future Jason down the line, probably maybe future Jason when future Jason has like a whole new server with whole new hard drives that he could like move stuff over and be like, all right, if you blow up, I can always hit reset, just go back. Next question is from Triple Flicks. Jason, tell us how you feel about the logo change and Plex general direction. Feel it's going the wrong way. Not the first question I've had about this, the Plex logo change and the general direction though. I am familiar with the old Plex logo, which automatically makes it good to me just because I'm familiar with it. I like Plex, I like the logo. The change, because I'm familiar with it, seemed unnecessary. I personally am not a fan of the new design that they made, although I'm not saying it's a bad design. I just am personally not a fan of the new design way that they made. And I am also more than willing to just have that old Plex simple logo in my mind. Just a nice, simple, squared font with the Plex X, half X anyways. That, in my mind, that's the Plex logo, so I'm completely content with that. I like that. I completely understand why somebody would want to change their logo. I've personally tried to change my logo, but I've never come up with a design that I liked enough to change over. Hell, I've even tried to change my name, but I don't know what I'd want to change it to. So I'm still stuck in the past here. So that's why I say that though, because sometimes companies just need a refreshed look and they want to move forward, and maybe they don't know what they want. Maybe they don't have the best thing. Maybe it is the best thing and we just don't know it yet, and it'll grow into us. But for whatever reason, they changed it. And even though I personally don't like the design, I don't think it's terrible. Even though I personally wouldn't have changed it myself, it still doesn't mean it's a bad thing. So overall, it's not horrible. And Plex general direction is definitely a loaded question. Something that I've given a lot of thought about before in the past. People have asked me, they're like, I think what you mean by that is Plex has been really hyper-focused on going towards the light. I think that's the best way I can put it. Plex in general is that gray area, right? It's not full on black, right? It's not just all dark web, type stuff. Like it's still a commercial, like commercially accepted platform that can still be used by people that are, you know, on the light side of the scale of the law. But Plex though recently has been focusing towards, you know, going towards the light of the law. You know, like, okay, hey, free TV with commercials, great. You know, they had podcast and web TV and, you know, anything that anybody can go create an account for free or not, whatever, log in and then just consume media that is going to be a continual revenue source for them that says, yeah, we are a content provider like not popcorn, that's terrible, but we're a content provider like Hulu or whatever. It's just we don't have a premium service. We don't sell our own goods, right? They can just be like, yeah, we do provide content, but it's all ad supported, right? These are all prearranged contracts with these, you know, companies that allows us to show this content to anybody that wants to watch it and accepts watching the ads alongside of it, right? Which makes sense. This happens a lot on a lot of platforms. I mean, started with YouTube, right? Where you can watch a video, you get an ad. Watch a video, get an ad. That's just how it works. And as long as the company can make enough money to not only provide that content, but also pay off, you know, the rental fee to show that video, then hey, that's great. But Plex has been noticeably splitting, I think, since, you know, the live TV edition, not the one where you have your own TV, but their version of the TV is when I really started to notice it. The TVs in movies or TV and DVR, that's like the main split point where they're like, yes, Plex is Plex. You can still manage your own library. You can still have your own files. You can still do all of that. But Plex, we offer all these other goodies, right? It's more of a middle ground. Saying, hey, don't try to shut us down. We're a legitimate business type of thing. There's always going to be somebody out there that has some problem with something, and you are not going to be able to make everybody happy. But as a whole, I do feel like maybe Plex has devoted more time to expanding their free user base or pay to watch or whatever, ad to watch, more so than they have developing their root software. Kind of like I need to refocus a little bit on my roots on my channel. I'm just saying. I could take my own advice. Next question that is actually the last question. Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna leave it at that. So guys, if you want the best opportunity to get your questions answered in this next Jason Bytes Back, make sure to leave it in the comments section down below. As always, this video is brought to you by my awesome Patreon subscribers, the $5 and the $10 of which will be listed at the end of this video. So make sure to like and subscribe below. Thank you for watching and have yourself a great day. Okay, I actually have to get ready for work now, but check this out. This is something. This is pretty big. This is a 40-inch widescreen monitor. WQHD 3440 by 1440. Has 144 hertz refresh rate, 21:9. This is something I've been sitting on for a little bit, and I do definitely want to take a look at it. They also sent me another monitor I haven't actually done a review on, but this one I've never really had a brand new like widescreen curved monitor. I mean, I've had one, wasn't really very nice. I've used one, maybe like a smaller one. But like a nice, large, I think the ones that I was looking at before was 39 inches, right? This one's 40. Maybe it was 40 inches, I don't know, but I think it was like 33 or 34, and then 39 was the ones that was out. So this one's 40 inches, and I can't wait to actually check it out and see what the hype is all about, right? Playing a video game on a true widescreen monitor. Like that's basically going to be what this video is about. It's like, oh, let's experience this for the first time. Like, let's set this up and see what it's all about and see what the hype is about. Like they just released super widescreen monitors, and I've never heard of them before. Like I'm the ancient Indian tribe that just got discovered in the Amazon, and they're like, oh, did you know there's widescreen monitors? That's basically what this video is going to be, you know. I've been saving myself for the right monitor, okay? Don't judge me. Anyways, that is from a company called Innokin. Yeah, it's called Anakin, or INNONC. So I'm grabbing that. I'm putting that right here. That way it's in my way and I will always see it, because that is definitely going to be the next focal point for me, because I want to mess with that. In fact, I want to hook this up and see how Blue Iris looks on it too, because I have one like monitor in my computer room. It's just a big, I don't know, a lot of things I want to try just to see how the widescreen aspect is and see if I like it. And if I like it, maybe go bigger. I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. I gotta start getting ready for work. I'm late for it. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. I already did that. Bye.